Here we are. Day 81. Hashtag grounded. COVID Mageddon 2020. I need to do this today because tomorrow I hit a milestone. I don't think I'm going to have time tomorrow before this milestone to make a recording. So I have to do it tonight. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. We made an appointment. I had to sign waivers. It's less paperwork than, having an operation to get my haircut. And it's gotten ridiculously out of control, and it looks, I can't do that without, it's ridiculously out of control. I get out of the shower, I look like a madman. I should be on Back to the Future. But it got me to thinking about, and night before last, we went out to dinner in a real restaurant. My sister and a friend of her, my daughter and a friend of hers, and Joan and I went to an actual sit-down restaurant. There were only 3 of us in the restaurant, or 3 tables in the whole restaurant, and they closed early on us, but it was really good. And we can't remember when the last time it was that we went out to an actual sit-down restaurant. It was going to be sometime in mid-March, and we just can't remember when that was. So, 2 milestones. Tomorrow I get my haircut. Earlier this week we went out to a restaurant, which was a lot of fun. It was good to do that. It was nice to sit down and relax and have a meal. And as I was thinking about these milestones, I decided, let's take a look back at 2020, the year 2020 so far, since we're, not far from halfway through it. At some of the things we may not really think about having been in 2020. In January, real early in January, in 2020, real early in 2020, General Soleimani was killed via a drone strike. Did you remember that? I had forgotten about that. Do you remember that Australia was on fire in January? It was early January, the 7th of January, that the coronavirus was first announced. A little later in January, not much later, a little later, the Sussexes stepped down from royal life, and Iran fired a missile at Iraq. You remember that happening? There was an impeachment trial in January, and Kobe Bryant and his daughter were both killed in the plane crash in January. At the end of January, almost February, what happened? Anyone? Brexit. England left the EU. A little bit later, a few weeks later, Harvey Weinstein was found guilty. And then March. What happened in March? COVID. What else happened in March? I don't know. COVID. That's everything that happened. At the end of March, I moved home, or moved my office here. That's 81 days ago. On March 27th, moved home and stopped shaving. In April, more COVID. The 27th, I don't know how many of you will remember this, but on the 27th of April, the Pentagon released previously classified videos of unidentified aerial phenomena. Most of us call those UFOs. They call them unidentified aerial phenomena. May, what happened in May? COVID. More COVID. Till near the end of May. And then George Floyd died in the custody of the police, kicking off protests. And we're still hearing a lot of that protest. June, COVID and protests. I would say that protests are a bigger topic in the news than COVID is now, although there's some increased numbers and counts, so it's getting a little bit of more airplay. But the big news, tomorrow, I get a haircut. I need a haircut, getting a haircut. I guess that's not really the big news. It's not really all that important news. The other news that's going on is a lot more important than my haircut. But it's immediate news. It's going to happen. I'm going to get my haircut tomorrow. So I had to make the video. Not because it's important, but because it's happening tomorrow. Still going to have this because this is still going on. Obviously, it's the next day. Hair's a little shorter, beard's the same. Feels really nice to have it finally back the way it's supposed to be. It was a little bit of an unusual experience going in there. Had a long questionnaire, like I mentioned, that we had to fill out. Had to hand sanitize, had to get my temperature taken, had to have a mask on. The gal that cuts my hair didn't recognize me with all that hair. She saw me and I kind of gestured at her through the window, but until I came in, she didn't even recognize me. And she and one of the other gals were kind of commenting about how out of control my hair was, and that it began to feather back. And maybe I'll have to find a picture of what my hair looked like when it used to really feather. I'll see if I can put it right up here. They shampooed it. They didn't really dry it, or she didn't really dry it very much. More dry cutting than shampooed cutting. The sides were all dry. The top was shampooed and not a real heavy dry. Kind of hit it a little bit with a hair dryer to blow the sparkles off of my shoulders and stuff, but went pretty well. There wasn't a lot of people in there. You know, every other booth was usable. They had containers for the sterilized utensils and containers for the not sterilized ones, and all the kinds of things that you would expect to go on. They'd put up plexiglass booths behind or between the shampoo stations, and a big one around the receptionist. So it's really hard to hear her because there's music playing and noise going on, and the door's open, and she's got this big glass wall around you. So interesting experience. Like our favorite pizza place, or is that our second favorite? I'm not sure. For a real pizza place, I don't count Mod Pizza, but the real pizza place, this Cooper place is really, really good. They have outdoor seating now. They've corralled out a spot out in the parking lot so that they can be open and have a little bit more capacity. But anyhow, feels good to have the hair trimmed up. 82 days without, and I was just, like I said before, like 2 weeks from supposed to get a haircut. So that was a long, long time for me. So anyhow, there it is.